Come to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the village board meeting of April 10th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Caperos.
Here.
Possession.
Here.
Giannotti.
Here.
Terry.
Here.
Stacy.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
In your packet, you've got the minutes from the last board meeting. Does anyone have any changes or additions? If not, can we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Caperos.
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
Giannotti.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Does anyone from the audience wish to address the board? Okay, village clerk's report.
The only thing I have is the total tax income for the month of March is $221,842.73. That's it.
Okay. 4th of July Commission, trustee Crown.
Thank you. The next meeting is May 17th at 6:30. It's getting busy, hustling, bustling. You got anything to add?
Officially launched car raffle sales for the tickets on the 2022 Fourth Escape today. So, in-person tickets will be available next week.
Where do they go online again?
It's Raffle Creator. There's a link on the Facebook page as well as soon to be on the village website in the next couple days.
That's all I have.
Okay. Youth Commission, trustee Session.
Thank you. So next meeting will be the 18th at 7:30 p.m. here at the Village Hall. They had the Mother-Son Dance last month at junior high, which was had an excellent turnout. And then finally, the Tony's fundraiser last month went pretty well, and the 50% of sales that was donated to the BYC from any orders with the flyers amounted to approximately $600. So they're in the planning stages for future fundraisers, and that's all.
Okay. Historic Preservation Commission, trustee Kaporis.
I'll refer to the village clerk if there's anything. If not, I have no report.
There is, at the last Historic Preservation Commission meeting, the members discussed having a coloring contest in the fall to try and engage the school more in the museum and in Beecher history. We were gonna do a type of a drawing of a reproduction of the picture of the depot with the caboose and try and get the kids involved to do that, and then maybe get some gift certificates for Buddy's Ice Cream or something like that. We're also talking about possible restoration to the inside of the caboose and opening it up for kids or people to tour when the museum is open. But I think it's still kind of in rough shape inside, so that would be something we have to look into. And then we retired an old computer here at the Village Hall that's getting outdated, and we're going to donate to the depot for that to keep records. Our next meeting is April 19th at 6 p.m. at the depot.
Okay. Under my report, we're going to start with, we're going to welcome Dylan Lorick as a full-time police officer, and we are going to swear him in. And
so, Dylan is 22 years old. He's already got the part-time academy under his belt. He's here with his family and friends, his mother. Al Vodika right here is the longtime chief of Hickory Hills, and he's come to see Dylan too. So my point is, he knows what he's getting himself into. His father's a police officer, a retired police officer as well. So we're gonna swear you in right over there. Yeah. If you want to take pictures, please stand
Grab
up.
that one chair, throw it. Yeah, there you go. And hide that Kleenex box. There you go. A little bit for space.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Dylan Lorick,
I, Dylan Lorick,
having been appointed to the position of police officer
having been appointed to the position of police officer
in the Village of Beecher
in the Village of Beecher
and the County of Will,
in the County of Will,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the position of police officer
of the position of police officer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Okay.
If I stab you, I get extra 5 points?
Yes,
How about if I draw blood?
That works.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hopefully you got that.
I got it.
It's not, I didn't put it on all these, I just placed it on there, so.
Yeah, do me a favor.
Good looking badge.
Guys ready? Cheeseburger or buddies, whichever you.
Peanut butter shake.
Sure you did.
Chief, this way. Terry, this way.
Over here.
This one's for the newspaper, so. Okay.
Thanks for the
all
phone.
right.
Good job. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome to stay. Really exciting.
Why would you like to run?
Thank you, guys.
Are you? We're gonna do those? So, is it, that's all?
Thanks. It's nice meeting you guys. Have a good one. Thank you.
Take care. Yeah.
Say non-vegan art, that is
It's a
all.
little different, but I know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the marketing slogans or whatever.
Have a great rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you.
You know, it's so camel going.
Alrighty. All right, we're gonna consider a motion to approve Rachel Espinoza and Phil Espinoza to Beecher Youth Commission. Would someone like to make that motion?
Motion?
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Gianardi,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Capros.
Yes.
All right, next on my report is IGA with the fire district. Trustee Cook and I had a meeting probably 3 weeks ago now to go over changes to the IGA. Before we got started on the actual intergovernmental agreement, I had downloaded a copy of all of the inspections that the inspector has done since the beginning of the year. And the reason is because Trustee Kaporis had asked about, maybe we need to do the inspections ourselves. So before we got started with the IGA, she and I sat down and started going over the reports, and she actually said that if the village was going to do inspections ourselves, the fire district was 100% on board with that, as long as the inspections are done. And I know we've always committed to having the inspections done regardless of who does them. But in the meantime, I says, that's great, that's a nice option. We actually got some quotes for what that would cost us. But in the meantime, she and I went over the IGA. So in your packet, there's the changes that we came up with. We took out a lot of things that we both sat down and read it and says, why is this even here? We don't even know what this means. So we redid a lot of that. Basically, the major changes are, we would initiate, so annual inspections would continue the way they are. They would go in, they would make the appointments. We don't need to give anybody permission to do that. The annual inspections just roll the way they do. If it is, and the attorney weighed in and says, new construction, actually new buildings, is not fire code, it's building code. So that's something that their architects, our building department would do as opposed to fire district. Reconstruction of existing businesses, somebody who opens in an existing building, that goes under fire code. So just to nail things down so that we don't have, there's been times Eric came in, was talking to the girls and found out a new business open and went out and started looking into it. I says, let's make this a little more formal. Either me or Bob Barber would be the ones who would send an email to the fire district and say, there's a new business opening, please go inspect. We also added that we would like to have one of us to accompany it to see how the inspections go, particularly if it's a new business. I would like to be present. We could have another trustee go, just, kind of to see how the process goes and to kind of make sure things are going smoothly with new businesses. That's the main changes we came up with. The fire district has not had this on their agenda yet for a meeting. I think they're not meeting until April 27th, you were saying? Yeah. So I know, fire chief's been out of town for the last week. I turned it over to both of them, but like I says, they have not met yet to go over it, so this isn't something we have to approve tonight. It's just, if we're gonna make any changes, if there's something you guys like or don't like, this is a good time, rather than send it back to the attorney 47 times, you know, and pay to have it redone every single time. We can do modifications at this point. The fire district can come back with modifications to it and just do one big change if we're gonna go there. So basically, open up to you guys.
What did they ask for in this, looking at the one that has strike-throughs on it?
The main thing, to be honest, that they requested was to upgrade to, fire code of 2018 instead of 15. And I said, we are not prepared to do that at this point. So that's not in there.
So in section 3 getting struck, is that just because you cleaned it up in
There
section
was
4
just,
then?
yeah, there was terminology cleaned up.
Okay.
That was one of those paragraphs, I believe, I have to get there, where, we sat there and said, what is this even here for?
So, like, what were the numbers? Where did we get prices from?
We got prices from Safeville, and it was $125 an hour. But basically, we calculated there'd be about 3 an hour. And I was looking at what, the fire inspector's been doing, and he's been doing about 3 a day, and they range from about 5 minutes to 15 minutes. Any of the, fire alarm tests or hydrostatic testing, sprinkler testing, that is all handled by the fire district regardless of whether there's an IGA or not. So that doesn't change, that still stays as is. But the actual annual inspections, we were thinking we could probably have them come out, do 3 an hour. We could probably hammer out in a few weeks, pretty much do everything in town. I think, I was trying to calculate probably about 80 businesses in town, give or take.
So, here's some of my big concerns. Is there was an inspection done on 320 where we had somewhat of a complaint. This is 2 weeks ago. This is the same behavior, right? This is par for the course of what we've been hearing for the past couple of years about the guy. Where there's evaluations and especially with the knowledge of everything that's happening, right? Here we are on 320, an inspection was done and a business owner had an issue. Mind you, no violations found on this. There was no violations on this inspection, 0. And the owner still, and manager had an issue. I've since talked to other businesses, I'll call them a business, where there's issues. Other ones that I have major issues with is, this is all things that have, you know, the public can't see this, right? But I'm sitting here looking at a picture of a scale at a fitness center where it's a violation because there was a scale in front of an electrical box, in front of an electrical panel, where now there has to be a reinspection. The guy's gonna get paid to come back out here and do it. Why is this not just moved there? I'm looking at a picture from the funeral home where, again, that's the only violation, and there's 2 chairs that are like this, that are blocking a doorway, that are in front of a fire exit. Why is that a fail and not just moved on site? These inspections have happened after trustees meeting and conversations with the fire department and their inspector supposedly and everything else. Like, here we have another one where there's a plastic plant that's somewhat blocking a fire pole, an alarm pole. Why are these businesses not being offered a chance and saying, and being brought and saying, hey, you know what, hey, this can't be here, this chair can't be here, you know what, let me show you, if we move this chair it's whatever, it needs to be 8 feet away or 10 feet away from the fire exit. If you have it here, you're good, but we can't have it there, so let's just leave it there.
And even a
And
reason for
instead, you
why.
fail them on that one single thing, and you come back for a reinspection over a chair like this. This is the perfect example of why the complaints that we've had of why we all got to talking to begin with. You know, and I understand with Safe Built, like, it's a decent option, but again, the village doesn't have control over that employee to say, hey, why are you failing them? Why wouldn't you give them the option to move the chair? Why wouldn't you give them the option to move the scale away from the electrical panel? Like, these are prime examples of what it is. And then on 320, you know, to have another owner complain that they felt slighted and, you know, unacknowledged. Like, and, you know, the rest of it. Like, this is a prime example of why I have absolutely zero confidence in this changing or improving, and why I don't think I would support any redraft of any IGA. I think this is something that, a service that the village absolutely needs to continue, but I think the village needs to be the ones in control of it. And my personal belief is that the village needs to be the one that's in control of the employee. So that way, when you have these, you can address them directly with the employee. Not having to go through the fire district and their boards and everything else, and not having to go through a separate contractor like Safe Built, where Safe Built can say, well, that's our guy, you know. I truly believe that we're the ones that hear from the businesses, and we're the ones that need to keep the businesses happy, and I think that's my take on it, so. And this
I agree with
completely
you.
secured with, I mean, everything I'm seeing here is, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this just happened on 320. You know, on 320, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, knowing everything we're going through. I said it from the beginning that, in the meetings and that I'm a firm believer that tigers don't change their stripes, and we're seeing it.
And what I did too, just after I started seeing these reports, basically I picked up the phone and started calling the businesses one after another and saying, how did things go? And a lot of them said it was fine, you know, but there were still some issues. And that's when I asked, how long is the inspection taking? Because we need to know that if we're gonna actually pay somebody, we need to know, you know, to be able to have some facts and figures as to how much that will take, so.
And I understand, I agree with trustee Kapoor, so I'm sure State Built's got reputable people in place to do the inspections. But, I mean, if in the event we're not happy with Safe Built, we could be in the exact same predicament that we are with Beecher Fire District. And
Did Safe Built
You're
want,
doing your building inspections now.
did Safe Built need a contract signed, like a long-term contract signed?
No, they would do it just on an hourly basis.
Okay, so you didn't have to pre-sign
No.
like for a year or something,
No.
so you weren't committed, if they did give you somebody that you didn't care for, you were not committed to that.
I would be fine with the idea of, the village administrating it somehow, but to Bob's point, I would agree. I mean, if Safe Built is already doing our building inspections, I mean, it feels to me, as someone that's not completely familiar with fire or building inspections in general, it's a bit of an apples to apples scenario. It seems like the same type of thing where we could already be in a situation where maybe we weren't happy with how Safe Built building inspections were doing. But seeing as that seems to be going fine, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to them taking on that additional activity.
Well, let's put it this way, it would be the quickest route probably, just because you don't have to try to go out there and see if you can hire somebody or find anybody, but.
We would still be administering, we'd be making the appointments. Businesses should be given a checklist of things that we're looking for before we go on the inspection, so they can correct these deficiencies even before the inspection occurs. I mean, some of the stuff's common sense, you know. But most people forget to check their extinguishers, so if you put on there, please check your fire extinguishers before you arrive and have them valid and up to date. Oh, boy, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, our goal has always been compliance, safety and compliance instead of, you know, trying to do a gotcha thing.
So we could almost, so say we decided to strike the IGA, we could almost for an interim, till we decided, could sign on with Safe Build to do the inspections for the time being. And if we're happy with Safe Build as time progresses, then we just continue it. If we're not happy with the way we're doing it, we can start looking for our own employee that would be part-time basis through the village then. And we control all the scheduling, either way, we're controlling the scheduling, because we're making the appointments, correct, you were just saying? We're making the appointments in-house and we're sending out checklists, so. I mean, obviously, if the inspector doesn't end up being a match for, you know, what we're looking for, then we could probably start pursuing other options, but the ball's in our court at that point, you know, to do that.
I agree. The other thing I was curious about, so we were talking about how long the inspections take, cause obviously we budgeted a certain amount for that. Do we know if there's any appreciable amount of additional time that the inspector would have to spend as far as like, prep work afterwards, like preparing reports or anything?
I don't know how Safe Built would do it. What Eric does, because he inspects for my business, so, what Eric does is, it's all on his iPad. So I think the form they use, the checkbox form is on the iPad.
Oh, so that's what he's doing.
He's doing it as you, because honestly, I get it, I mean, I could sit here with my phone, as soon as he's done, I get the email
Okay.
of, you know, anything that has to be done. And that also gets sent to Village Hall. I would imagine it goes to the fire district too.
Mhm.
So at least that's the way they do it. I have no
Yeah, that's
way of
fair.
knowing how anybody else would do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, as far as Eric goes, so he's got to schedule, like, his next inspections coming up. And that was one thing that I did put in the IGA, that if we were gonna have somebody accompany him, that we would like a schedule ahead of time of, you know, a week or two ahead of time of what inspections are scheduled. But he's still gotta, you know, do those. I think last year he contacted me by email and gave me like a series of dates that would work for me, so I don't know. I'm sure there's businesses that he's not emailing that he has to call, and, you know, I'm sure he's got appointment setting to do.
And then, I know the fire district was concerned about their safety and all this as well. We could forward
Oh,
reports to them as we're going along, just like they're doing for us, correct?
Absolutely.
I mean, so they could still be in the loop on it. It's not like we're gonna shut them out to what's going on.
And if there are, like, new businesses that come in town, you know, we can forward them plans for it and, you know, anything that we have access to that they need, so.
Cause at the end of the day, we're the ones that would be doing any kind of enforcement of fines or anything like that anyway, correct?
It's that way now. They've
They're
done
not,
that.
they can't enforce the fines, we're
No.
the, either way, we're gonna put the part of the bad guy on it because we'd be the ones issuing the fines.
Anybody else have any thoughts?
And to be honest with you, we have not collected a dime
Yeah.
of fines since the program started 3 years ago, so it's not
Yeah.
a fine-based or fee-based
No.
system.
It's just,
Nobody's looking to
No,
collect any
that's
money,
the thing,
they're
it's
looking
not-
for
yeah.
compliance.
and that's what I'm trying to say, it's like we're the ones that, if we were imposing it, we'd be,
Now, there is
We're
a
the person
judgment on
that
a
would.
party
yes.
for a significant sum of money because of that party's failure to even cooperate, but we haven't collected on it.
And this isn't something that you have to do anything with tonight even, this is something you can table and, you know, think about for the next meeting, but I just wanted to make sure you had all the information I have as far as that meeting, the changes to the IGA we made, and the list of the inspections. There was one more inspection done today to one of the restaurants, I wouldn't download it for you. And it was one that actually had some violations last time, and they still have violations, so. That was the only one we got today, right?
That's the only one I saw.
Okay. All right,
So,
do we want to take some time to think about this till the next one, or?
I mean, either way, nothing can start till May first, correct? I mean, we set aside
So there's
a monetary amount in the next fiscal budget, correct?
Right.
And there is a time frame of, if we were to eliminate the IGA, it's what, 30 days? So,
I mean, if,
I'll go ahead and I'm gonna make a motion to eliminate the intergovernmental agreement with the Fire Protection District for the enforcement of fire prevention codes.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call.
Personally, I would probably prefer to wait until the next meeting of the fire district has, so they can weigh in on things and talk about it as well, but that's just my thoughts, so.
I like trustee Gianotti's idea. We know Safe Built, we can go with them. I mean, it doesn't have to be a stopgap, like I said, we just do a trial period. If we like him, we'll stick with him. If not, we can do our own homework and go get our own employee.
I just don't waiting anymore. I mean, to me, I was somewhat in favor of, kinda letting this play out just a little bit longer until I saw the report on 320. And to me, that's just, that's enough. Like, here we are, I mean, we've had numerous meetings, we've had numerous things and everything else, and there's been 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 25 inspections done, you know, since we've started addressing this, and we're already getting complaints again. You know what I mean? Like, that's what brought us there to begin with. So, that's where.
That's just a 30-day by any party, right? Do we have any idea how fast we can get Safe Built building?
30 days.
I mean, 125 bucks is a lot for an hour, but, I mean, I understand if that's what, you know, we're willing to shoot with and roll with, at least we know we have a backup option. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are inspectors that, you know, I think would probably like to have an opportunity to, you know, that would do it for somewhat cheaper, but if this is what we decide, then, you know, I'm with it, as long as we have a backup plan or contingency plan. And I don't think, if we're gonna have our own inspector, I don't think we need the IGA. And we're still sharing information with the fire department. At the end of the day, you know, I worry about all the public safety people out there, from the fire department to the police department to the public works, you know, every day. So I don't think that it's gonna jeopardize their safety at all.
Okay, roll call.
Caprows,
Yes.
Possession,
No.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Okay, next meeting I'll put the Safe Built contract on the agenda.
All right, that ends my report. Finance Administration Committee, trustee Kapoor.
Consider a motion approving the treasurer's report for the month prior. Anna?
The March month-end balance for the village accounts, $8,159,710.89. The total of the commission accounts, $287,928.18. The month-end in general, $924,122.34. The combined total, $8,447,639.07. And just of note, the totals for water sewer debt, general, public safety facility all include the dollar amounts of the CD investments. And the commission non-AP payments for the month of March, $411,097.02. A little higher than normal, but we did have 3 payrolls in the month of March, as well as loan payment for the EPA loan. Other than that, pretty standard stuff. If no one has any questions, that would end my report.
Alright, I'll go ahead and make a motion approving the treasurer's report for the month prior.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Hello?
Well, we'll do the same thing.
There's a motion and a few seconds, discussion, Roll call.
Kraus?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Genati?
Yes.
Possession?
Yes.
Caprows?
Yes. Variance reports are enclosed for your review. Consider a motion approving the bills and payroll for the previous month. I gotta admit, this is working really nice. I was in and out of here on bills in, I think, literally 10 to 15 minutes, which was a beautiful thing. Anybody have any questions on any of the bills? If not, I'll go ahead and make a motion approving the bills totaling $380,053.18 for the month prior. Or
There's
not even the month prior. You gotta stop saying that.
2 weeks prior.
2 weeks, that's
prior.
right. There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion?
Just one item, if people are finding these reports easier to read.
Much,
Okay.
Much.
There's other options, but we thought this was the best.
No, this is phenomenal.
Alright.
Okay. Roll call.
Caprows?
Yes.
Possession?
Yes.
Genati?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes. Alright, village board budget workshop was held at the last board meeting, and a budget and appropriation ordinances are being prepared for the public hearing at the April 24th meeting.
You have your paper copies tonight, so just bring it with you next meeting, but you got them now.
Gotcha. Tax levy is published for 2023, $724,934 in new property was recorded, however, an existing property was increased 7.48 in value, bringing the village's portion of the EAV to $123,747,847, which is about where we were in value in 2008. So it's taken about 15 years for us to fully recover from the recession. The combined rate of, for the 2009 GO bonds for the new public works facility and the 2023 GO bonds for the police station turned out to be 0.2668, which is $206 approximately on a $235,000 home. The operating levy was set at 0.5413 or $419.78. The new combined, on a $235,000 home. The new combined village tax rate is 0.8113 or $629.16 for a $235,000 home. Please see the enclosed tables. Consider a resolution authorizing line item transfers to the current fiscal year 2022-2023 budget to cover ongoing expenses at the time. The budget was prepared. We are only moving line items in our expense accounts and not increasing any revenue line items. These line item transfers are being made to cover the cost of the new police union contract, temporary loss of a full-time officer, and the transfer of a sewer operator from contractual to full-time employment. However, our auditors require that these expense items be cleaned up. Get a resolution number?
Yep, 2023-04.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion approving resolution 2023-04.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call.
Kraus?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Genati?
Yes.
Possession?
Yes.
Caprows?
Yes. Last item, consider a resolution adopting an amended personnel manual conforming to all state and federal laws as of April 1, 2023. This manual was last updated by the village in 2018. This should be updated every 4 years. We started this project in the summer of 22. It's taken this long to go through department reviews and 3 legal reviews. We believe we finally have a finished product that will be our primary human resources document for several years to come. 2023-05, Mayor?
Yep.
Alright, I will go ahead making a motion to approve resolution 2023-05.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call.
Caprows?
Yes.
Possession?
Yes.
Genati?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
That concludes my report.
Public buildings and properties, parks and recreation, trustee Giannotti.
The new HVAC and the food stand update, I talked to the contractor today, and they will be wrapped up this week, so they just finished the gas line, all the units all set in place, most of the ductwork's ran, so they just got some control work to kinda tidy up and run the flue pipe out the ceiling, so that'll be wrapped up this week. Fireman's project updates, so Fireman's Park, Matt?
The walking bridge is obviously complete. I'm sure everybody's seen that. The walking path lighting project is underway, and they're supposed to be pouring concrete on Wednesday. I would assume that they'll have the lights up and operational by the end of next week, would be my guess on that. That's all I have on that.
So if school's back in session, they shouldn't be using those walking paths yet.
Yeah, we'll let them know. I know,
Concrete truck, he said.
Wednesday,
Wednesday, probably around 9 AM they'll start.
yeah, so
we'll
Wednesday
wait
it'll be
till
closed.
people can get through the park to
I'm
get
asking because the weather's gorgeous, you know,
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna want them out there.
Yeah, we'll just have to play it day by day at this point, cause I don't,
Should put an announcement out.
yeah.
You say park equipment might be coming?
Park equipment's scheduled to ship out next Monday, but that's no guarantee.
Okay. And then, Project Pickle update.
I talked to Brian with American Seal Coating today. He's still waiting for Do-All Fence to get us a updated price on the new fence design, layout and all that we approved at the last meeting. So I don't really have a start date or anything like that. Pavement Systems, that's doing the overlay on it, is waiting for the asphalt plants to give them a date of when they're opening to actually schedule that work first. We did tear out all the existing equipment while the kids were on spring break this past week. All the basketball hoops and old tennis net post and the fencing along the parking lot, things of that nature. So the project has, I guess, technically began, but nothing. We did the demolition. They haven't really started the new progress portion of it yet. So
And then, Welton Stat update.
I have nothing to update on that. There's no progress on that.
Wait until fall.
Well,
Yep.
Warner's been given the contract.
They've been given the contract, yeah, but they have no start date, specified. They are looking at late fall, September,
So we should take this
October.
off the agenda till.
Yeah.
so, okay.
Yeah.
And then, police station design update. We are getting to the point where decisions will have to be made regarding the internal technology of the building, such as Cat6 cable outlets, phone system, video system, etc. The engineer is coming up with an estimate of probable costs on all the site work, as we know how much we have left to spend on the building. Design is about 50% complete, the floor plan is basically done, and the specifications are being written along with the required plumbing, HVAC, electrical and structural drawings. Enclosed is a project schedule providing two scenarios, one with a July bid opening and one with a September bid opening. If we go in July, the building may be complete by fall of 2024. If we wait until September, the move-in date may be delayed until February of 2025. But the architect is of the opinion that bids will be much more competitive and the quality of the contractors increase if we wait. This decision does not have to be made now. And that concludes my report.
Alright. Planning, Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Stacy.
Thank you, Mayor. Consider a final plat of subdivision for lot 26 of the Alien Crossroads Business Park. Mr. Art Van Buren and Warren Ackerman will be presenting their plan for the lot at this meeting, and details are shown. Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval for the plat, subject to the village engineer's approval and recording of the covenants for the lot as presented with the preliminary plan.
So we'll let Warren make the presentation. I got your tripod right there, Warren. So you can use that, and I have you on the other side, so the camera can pick you up. I'm sorry? I have you on this side, so the video camera
okay.
can pick it up for the public.
Let's start with the overall. The lot 26, and this would be the first lot for Alien and Crossroads, but we've kept the lot as 26 because the overall park, that is a lot designation. So when it gets recorded, it will be lot 26, but it's the first lot in the park to be recorded. Just to give you a point of reference, right here on the east side of this first phase is Dutch American Way, coming off the north side of Church Road.
It kind of aligns with where the creek starts, doesn't it?
Yes, it does,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's where the sanitary sewer easement goes up and then right up into Dutch American Way. Lot 26 is 5.85 acres, and when we plat phase 1, we will be platting a detention outlot E, which is 2.3 acres, detention outlot D, which is 0.93 acres, and outlot B1, which will be strictly a conservation easement. No development going on in outlot B. Just also as a point of reference, this line that kind of angles down through the property is the Explorer pipeline. So basically, all of our development will be on the north side of the Explorer pipeline, the northwest side. And when we plat, we will be dedicating a 40-foot strip of Church Road. There's approximately 1 acre of dedication with the Church Road dedication through there. So that's kind of and then the far west side, just again as a point of reference, here's the railroad over on the far west side.
A lot of people have asked Warren, trying to get a spatial analysis of where these things are. And maybe Art needs to help you with this, but can you point to us where the billboard is right now on that plot? I say it's right along where the street will go.
I think the billboard is really close to probably over on lot 1.
Sign we put up?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little east of that.
It's, yeah, the billboard's a little bit this way, I think, of the road.
A little bit east of the road?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So will it have to be moved as part of this project? It probably will then, correct?
If we gotta move the sign, we'll move it,
Yeah.
but.
I've had residents ask, like in the area, say, where is this? And trying to get a grip on exactly, when you look at all this vacant land, where this lot is coming in.
You just gotta tell them that it's, you know, if you look at the railroad tracks, how many feet is that from the railroad track? That's the easiest way to tell them.
About 400 feet east of the railroad track, plus or minus, is the west line of lot 26. And we are not platting Ileana Road at the moment. That will come at a future date as further development occurs to the south. So right now, all the access for lot 26 will be strictly off of Church Road, with nothing coming off of Ileana.
Can we talk utilities for a minute?
Yeah.
Warren, three-phase electric has to be run into there from Dutch American Way, correct? The electric power?
Yes.
Okay, and that you have to pay for, correct?
Yes, and they won't tell me what it costs.
Okay, and then you have a 2-inch gas line that runs along Church Road, and I don't know what the demand this building will be, but it's a 2-inch force main, and I don't know how much gas that can produce. Are you planning on heating that whole building with the natural gas? Is that your plan?
We do. He doesn't have any appliances inside there though that are gonna take any gas. It'll be strictly the heaters. They're in for 2 heaters for the warehouse portion, 75,000 feet. I imagine there'll be half a dozen of them. They're very efficient, they don't use a lot of gas.
Okay, I just wanna make sure you got enough capacity out there, that's all.
There's a 50 by 100 office feet. It's 5,000. That'll be probably a 15-ton HVAC system in there.
Okay, and then your water, we got a 10-inch water main that runs right along the Church Road, so you'll have plenty of water for your suppression.
8-inch line at this point is what it's gonna take, you know, for the hookup for the sprinklers.
And then the fire pump.
Yeah, we're talking may or may not need the fire.
Oh, that would be good news. It depends on the flow test.
Right.
And then, sanitary, we do have to cover. They have asked for, and I have agreed to allow them to put in a private sump ejector with a 2-inch discharge line running the Dutch American Way for just this lot. When that street gets dedicated, then they'll have to put the formal public sewer in, but it makes no sense to spend hundreds of thousands on a sewer line just for what you're expecting to be employee bathrooms at this point, correct?
There's anticipated to be approximately 100 employees, and if it's strictly warehouse workers, office workers, demand is very, very low.
Yeah.
So
It just, the cost effectiveness of that, just for that one building is not worth it, but if they add on, then the public sewer's gotta come down Church Road and down that street. Or whichever way it's designed. I think our original design was to have it come in the back.
You know, coming up this way.
When you plat phase 1, the sewer comes in down the middle from the creek, yep. So I think that's the most cost-effective way of doing this project. It gets a good, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you finish, but giving them that little sanitary, exception, and I'm working with Baxter Woodman on that, allows us to kickstart this business park in this TIF district. We gotta get it kickstarted somehow. Because we run into a lot of utility problems trying to get this project off the ground. Yeah. Yeah, all right, Warren, I'm sorry, continue on.
No, that's fine. So Church Road here on the north, again, over on the west side will be the future Liliana Road. All the access will be off of Church Road at this point of location, which will be on the east side of the proposed building. Proposed building at the present time is 80,000 square feet. It is designed to be expanded by 20,000 plus additional square feet sometime in the future if demand dictates. All the trucks will be coming in off of Church Road and going out and exiting off of Church Road. There are 6 docks for truck movement and deliveries and shipping incoming and outgoing over here on the east side of the building. The office that Art mentioned is over here in the northwest corner of the building, approximately 5,000 square feet. And so the employee parking and the office parking is wrapping on the north side and the west side of the building. I think right now we have 152 plus minus parking spaces. And again, there's anticipated to be 100 employees out here. It is set up that when Ileana does get extended through, trucks could come in, and if the demand dictates, trucks could come in, move into this direction, and then back into docks over here on the west side. But that's all future, so we don't know how that's gonna play out right now. As Bob mentioned, there's a 10-inch water main here on Church Road. The fire room with the sprinkler system, fire pump if necessary, will be right up here on the north side of the building with a tap directly to the 10-inch main. And the ejector pump up here on the northeast corner of the building, running over to, actually within a easement, not in the right of way, but in an easement connecting over to the sewer that's over here that's opposite Dutch American Way. Stormwater, right now, the building's not 100% designed, but it's intended to split 50-50 to the north and to the south. And we're picking all this stormwater up on the north side and the west side, bringing it over into Outlot E detention, and then everything on the south side into Outlot D detention, and both of these ponds are interconnected. So it's not like one pond is different height. When one pond fills up, the other pond fills up the same thing.
And the PZC asked about, are they wet bottom ponds or dry bottom ponds, and your answer was they're a little bit of both.
Yeah, they're wetland bottom ponds.
Wetland bottoms.
Yeah, so there is, and that's in the covenants, to be maintained, and there's covenants and restrictions to have those wetland bottom ponds maintained so that they don't turn into, cattail, ponds.
They're usually burned off once a year, if I recall.
Yeah.
Very similar to what they have, between the creek and the high school soccer field, there's an area there that's very similar.
What else? Oh, there's approximately 15 acres north of Church Road that flows down in this direction. It crosses Church Road somewhere about here. We are picking that up. I think it's a 15-inch culvert that comes across. We're picking that up, bringing that down to the east, and then getting that into our system. We're not accommodating detention, but we are accommodating the flow that comes through there.
Where's the low point of those ponds? Where does the water overflow?
The overflow is down to the ditch down here at the far south end of Pond D.
Your tripod's got a
Oh, yeah, it's, I
Yeah, let's mix that up for you.
thought it was just me.
Oh, no.
It just
We're all
proves the world is round.
We're all starting to go like this.
Hey Ben,
There we go.
how's your neck?
It's not great.
We're all starting to.
Most of the time it's me. So the outlet for the pond would be down here to the far south.
Did the PZC talk about color schemes and architectural designs and sloping roofs? They spent a lot of time with that, and George is here to test. He was at the meeting. They're talking about maybe a two-color facade across the front of that building, so you break up the look of it facing Church Road. The loading docks are recessed in there, facing east, and there was talk about maybe putting some berms on the east side there to hide the loading bay from Church Road, Warren, because you're gonna have extra dirt on the job anyway. Between the pond and the parking lot,
Yeah,
or a
right in
little berm
here.
along there, yeah, to hide those loading docks.
Yeah, we've got future parking set up through here, and we could put some, a little bit of berming. There's not a whole lot of room in there, but we could be doing something in there to accommodate that.
And then there was a concern about, night operations. There was a question asked by a PCC member regarding noise at night. And I believe the client that wants to occupy this building doesn't have a night shift, is that correct?
That's correct.
Are you able to tell the board who the client is at this time, Art, or not?
Yeah, it's Union Electronics there in Washington Township, about a mile and a half from the site,
Okay.
right on Corning Road, between Cottage and Route 1.
So any truck traffic is already coming through Beecher.
Oh, it's already here, yeah. He's a good guy, good man.
And then the height of the building, I think we talked about too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was discussed.
We're quoting them 25 feet and an option of 30 foot high curb span. The high industrial zoning is 40, so it'd be well under that.
Yeah, Dutch is 34 or 36, I think. So, shorter than that.
So basically, this is electronic parts, warehousing and distribution, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, super clean business.
Samsung is one of his big clients. A lot of TV, dishwashers, that type of stuff.
A lot of LTL, UPS, FedEx,
And he's outgrown his current location, has he not?
Excuse me?
He's outgrown his current location.
Yeah,
correct?
he outgrew it 10 years ago. I don't know how he operates out of there.
Driving the forklift in the snow
He's got a lot
between
of,
the buildings, he has 5 buildings, it's just not real efficient for him. He wants to be part of the town, he's a town guy, and you probably know him, several of you, he's a good man, wants to help his family, and,
I know.
yeah, so.
I guess the only question mark is if he does it, he wants to do it, he plans on doing it. I don't know where these costs are going. I don't think you're familiar with building costs, it's crazy. My bids are guaranteed for 15 days, most of them. Well, you know.
Yeah, COVID
it might change 15.
Some days steel's down, some days it's not. Some days concrete's down, some days it's not.
We've been trying to work with you to,
Help, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's good. It'll be a nice thing for the town, good clean business and, you know, some tax revenue and good, so.
Does anybody have
Yes,
any
about
questions for
140.
everyone?
100 jobs.
What's, when they looking to start this? When they looking to start, I mean, immediately, or?
As soon as we can.
Pretty soon.
I know,
And I don't,
once we go ahead, we gotta order a building, that's gonna be 4 to 6 months.
and I don't pretend to know anything about construction, so really, I mean, I like this design with the press docks, I think are nice. You know, help with the noise, especially not having the night shift. What kind of construction traffic are you talking at church? Like any interruptions for that during the building, or just, I mean, minimal?
Very
I mean,
minimal.
Yeah, I'm not looking for details, sorry.
No,
I don't
very
know how this
minimal.
stuff
He
goes up
doesn't
and
have
works.
a heavy truck volume.
Oh,
I would say 95% or maybe 100%.
He was
Those
saying
outbound
construction
shipments
traffic, yeah.
are in boxes like this, they're just small parts.
Okay.
Those 100 people are running around the warehouse chasing parts all day.
You're gonna have the trade guys coming in with their
box and
vans and stuff that, you know, working on the building.
But no closures for church? Okay. Thank you.
yeah, it's all going UPS, FedEx. The only big shipments maybe is the incoming, you know.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Roger, did you want to make a motion to approve the final plat?
Yeah, there, I'd like to make a motion to approve the final plat.
Subject to village engineer approval and recording of the covenants.
And recording of the covenants.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call?
Kraus,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes. Mrs. President, as long as the client is here, do you wanna do that one item on Ben's agenda that also involves that? Regarding the, TIF committee review?
Yep.
There's a need for your committee, Ben, to meet with them, as soon as possible to start getting the numbers, on this project, start talking a redevelopment agreement.
Alright, so I'll just
With
go
the
through that
building
first
owner.
one then.
Huh?
I'll just read through this first one. TIF Incentive Committee to meet before May 1st to discuss a redevelopment agreement for Lot 26 in the Ileana Crossroads Business Park. Goal is to present an agreement to the village board at the May 8th meeting. So if I recall correctly, I think that was you and I, John, as head
Yeah,
of the
there,
finance.
there's a
and-
formula that was discussed amongst you guys to begin with, and
Mhm.
involved the purchase of land, but we need to meet to formalize that.
Mhm.
There's some legal requirements I gotta check off. So you guys would meet and meet with the owner,
Mhm.
come up with a redevelopment agreement like we did on the First Dutch American building, and then present it to the village board at the May meeting.
Sounds good. So we can figure that out.
Yep.
We'll get
Alright.
together and I'll
Get a
give you
date.
some dates and times, Art, once they tell me when.
Alright.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Freedom.
Other,
In order to do that, he has to have a purchase contract
Yes,
on the property
yes, he does.
and the building.
Some site improvements might be necessary, but the purchase price might be all we need.
Yeah, well, if he buys that property,
I haven't looked
at the building. I'm sure.
Other activities of the planning and zoning commission. Public hearing was proposed for the tobacco vape store at 997 Dixie. Was closed at the request since, and tabled since the petitioner once again was a no-show. This issue is dead for now. A request for a workshop on a proposed LED sign at 1260 Dixie Highway was tabled until such time a positive survey is provided by the petitioner. The next meeting is scheduled for April 27th. But if the special use of the LED sign petition is not received, the meeting will be canceled. that's fine. Oh, and, the building, monthly report is enclosed for your review. And that's my report, Mayor.
All right, Public Safety Committee, trustee Terry.
Thank you, Mayor. In the police department, the EMA, the code enforcement, along with the fire district reports, everybody had in their packet. And Chief, do you want to add anything? Also too, on the EMA report, I just want to kind of give credit to Director Heim and Dale Murray. A lot of people, sometimes I think we kind of take some of this stuff for granted, but with the storms and stuff that were approaching, those guys went out and they did some special training or continued training for storm watching and tornadoes. And luckily they didn't find any tornadoes that touched down in the area. Beecher approached Beecher, but one of the trees fell down. I think it was on Orchard. So, just like to extend my thanks to them for being out there in not the best conditions. And we're all at home bunkered down. And then as far as our full-time and part-time staffing, we just interviewed, the Public Safety Commission interviewed a couple of part-timers, and we're moving forward.
We have the police chief of the year sitting in the audience.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Illinois
No music?
Police Chief of the Year is Terry Lemon. He's a very humble man, he doesn't want the attention, but we're glad
Like,
you're here.
good job.
So thank you.
Want to keep him longer, you gotta keep him moving.
Yeah, well, you better stay.
You're not gonna mention all the time you come to Beecher again, nothing? Just saying,
Nope.
nice little town.
All right, Public Works Committee, trustee Kraus.
Thank you. The Public Works, Water Department, Sewer Department monthly reports are enclosed to review. Street flag project, flags have been ordered, and we're going up a week before Memorial Day. Everything's good with that, no back orders?
There is back orders, but we're supposed to have it in time.
Penfield Street STP project update. What's
Yes,
that?
we are hopefully going to know exactly when these utilities are going to be relocated by Friday. Either way, we'll be notifying the residents on Penfield Street and all of you, of course, as what the status of that project is.
I'd like to consider a resolution adopting the asset management plan for the Village of Beecher. This project has been in the works for several months now. It's ready for formal consideration. This plan should be updated a minimum of 5 years. Does anybody have any questions about that? We got packets, what, a month ago, something like that? 2023.
Or 6.
I just said the first part. So I'd like to make a resolution, 2023-06, adopting the asset management plan for the Village of Beecher.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call.
Capros?
Yes.
Possession?
Yes.
Giannotti?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yeah.
Kraus?
Yes. Consider a motion authorizing the purchase of a 50G John Deere mini excavator from Westside Tractor in an amount not to exceed $89,322.97. See the enclosed quote. This is a municipal price bid. Superintendent wishes to order equipment now due to a 3 to 4 month lag time for delivery. So I'd like to make a motion authorizing the purchase of a 50G John Deere mini X from Westside Tractor, the amount not to exceed $89,322.97.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call.
Kraus?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Giannotti?
Yes.
Possession?
Yes.
Capros?
Yes.
Consider a motion declaring the 35G John Deere Mini X as surplus property upon the arrival of the 50G and setting a minimum price bid of $36,000. This is the trade-in value offered for our current machine, and superintendent wants to begin the bid process about 30 days before the arrival of the 50G to determine if the village can get a better price for the equipment. This was discussed at the budget workshop. So I'd like to make that motion declaring the 35G John Deere Mini X surplus property upon the arrival of the 50G and setting a minimum bid price of $36,000.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call.
Caprows,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes. Consider a motion authorizing the purchase of a Duraclass stainless steel dump body for the 2003 International 7400 for $21,546. This is one of our better trucks, having only 35,000 miles and is a Tier 2 diesel. We would like to keep this truck for several more years, but the dump body has rusted out. This item is in the proposed budget, but as usual, it takes several months for delivery. We need this truck ready to go for next winter. Authorizing the purchase now will guarantee a fall installation. Please see the enclosed quotes. So I'd like to make that motion, authorizing the purchase of a Duraclass stainless steel dump body for the 2003 International 7400, the amount of $21,546.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Caprows,
Yes.
Consider a motion authorizing the purchase of a John Deere Z960M Z-Track 72-inch rider mower, replacing the 2010 Toro motor in the amount of $14,093.31. This is a municipal price bid. See the enclosed quote. This item is in the proposed budget. Like the other two agenda items, it is in stock and Public Works would like to use it this spring. Sorry, unlike the last two agenda items. So, I'd like to make a motion authorizing the purchase of a John Deere Z960M Z-Track 72-inch rider mower, in the amount of $14,093.31.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion,
Just one item, man, we can't pay for that until
Since we're buying this through Showroad, it gets billed directly through John Deere corporate. They're at minimum 90 days out of billing, so
Okay.
we won't be in an issue there.
roll call.
Caprows,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes. Now, thank you.
Economic Development Community Relations Committee, trustee session.
Thank you very much. We've already completed number one, so moving on to number two, spring newsletter update. Jeanette, would you like to speak on this one?
it went to the printer this afternoon.
Excellent. And I reviewed the draft and it's excellent, I thought, so, very nice. And then finally, summer concert series update. So a few updates for everybody. So first off, the Polka Band Day has been changed from Sunday, August 6th to Saturday, August 12th. The planned caterer is also good for this new date. The final concert has been decided on for September 2nd, which will be Maggie Speaks. And at this moment, we're in the process of finalizing the last couple of food vendors for August 26th and September 2nd, and working on some backup venues hopefully as well. So that is all.
Any old business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board? We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Hey, chief, I have to sign?